Oh my god, y'all. I am so sorry for being late. I suck. How's it going? Happy Saturday night. I am here to do a live stream talking about some wrestling stuff. I apologize first and foremost for being late here. I had a little family gathering with my family, and I did not expect it to run this long. Every time we get together, I have a little 3-year-old niece, and everything tends to revolve around her, and everybody kind of powders out and leaves around 6 o'clock anytime we do anything during the day. So the fact that it ran late was driving me crazy. I finally had to bail out and look, I got to go home and do a live stream up on the YouTube. So it's good to see y'all in here on a Saturday. I do not have my earphones or my headphones plugged in, so if y'all can give me a thumbs up on the sound and the audio, make sure y'all can hear me. I'm testing out my new mic stand or my boom arm for my microphone here, so it's kind of on the side, gets it off the desk, gets it away from me pounding on the desk. And it's kind of like a trial run tonight. I went ahead and labeled this episode 536, as you see on the screen here, everything that we're going to talk about tonight, which is not much. I was going to come up here earlier in the week, but I just couldn't find anything noteworthy to talk about. I mean, there was a little bit of wrestling news going on, but not much. So I figured, hell, I'd wait until the weekend. We come up here and do a little Saturday night stream together and hang out and all that jazz. So we're going to talk about all the issues at hand tonight. We'll talk about AEW, or I'm sorry, AEW. All Elite Wrestling selling out All Out in a matter of minutes. We'll look at the Stomping Grounds card. There's some rumors of Bray Wyatt appearing this Monday on Raw. There's also some rumors about Shane McMahon potentially becoming the next WWE champion, which does make sense when you look at how much he's been winning lately. Winning at WrestleMania, winning his entire program virtually with The Miz, winning the World Cup last year, beating Roman Reigns in Saudi Arabia. All signs are pointing to that. Pretty crazy. We'll talk about that too. I don't know much about her. Don't know her music. Don't know even really who she is. But some twat named Cardi B might be at SummerSlam. Wonderful. Sounds like fun. And we had the Revival crown new tag team champions this past Monday on Raw, which I was on YouTube watching that live last week. We watched that together. And that's pretty much it. It has been a pretty light news week. There has not been much going on at all. So that's why I figured I'd come up here and do kind of a casual Saturday night stream. I got a nice, delicious red stripe, so cheers to you. Anybody that might be having a little frosty beverage tonight, hope you can enjoy one with me. I'm going to kind of collect myself here until we get going here. I'm going to read a little bit of the chat because I literally just walked in the door a few minutes ago and I was kind of scrambling. I had the stream ready and set and ready to go for the minute I walked in, but I still had a few things to do, so I'm a little bit out of breath. And I was driving home real fast. I had to get here and get up to you guys, so I apologize for being a little bit out of sorts, but I'll fall into it and I'll get comfortable here soon. I want to say hello to Mr. T, DJ Glenn, Joshua, Chat Site Forums, Vontae Page, Liam, Robert, Benny, Gerard, Ratnick, how wheezy. Good to see a mod in here. Good to see you in here, brother. Mr. Solo Local Rager, Avengers, Joshua, I might have said you already. Crushed, Mike, Flip, Crazy. All y'all. Good to see you in here. Over 100 people in here. Not bad for a Saturday. Compared to my Monday Night Live or my Monday Night Raw live streams, is the mic in front of my face louder? Less loud? What do y'all think so far? It's a little bit closer to my face than what I used to have it, and I have not adjusted any of the volume settings at all. So if it's too loud or anything like that, let me know. Super chat flying in right off the bat from Chris Ludecki. Good to see you in here again, dude. I appreciate it. The $5. What old school pay-per-view music would you like to see brought back? SummerSlam, Survivor Series, or the WrestleManias? I actually liked them all, but the one I liked the most was the old school 1990s WrestleMania. Actually, it was only about a 2 or 3 year old long song. It lasted from WrestleMania 6 to WrestleMania 9. And then they did the one in WrestleMania 9. That's the one that Linda McMahon would come out to when she came out to the ring. The one before that, you know what I'm talking about. That was my all-time favorite. But the SummerSlam shared a theme with the Royal Rumble at first, and then SummerSlam got its own theme. But I like the Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and WrestleMania. I thought all those classic themes in the 80s and the 90s in WWE were off the hook. I miss them all. I'd like to bring them all back. If it was up to me, I'd bring back SummerSlam. I just love those old school themes. But unfortunately, you can't go back ever. And WWE's never going to do that. Now they, you know, this year's SummerSlam is brought to you by this shitty band song or whatever. You know what we do every year with Michael Cole promoting that stuff. So if it was up to me, I'd go back to the old school days. I don't know who wrote and produced those. I'm guessing it was Jim Johnson, but I don't really know. Must have been. Those were the days, man. Yeah, Cardi B. That's who I'm talking about. Never heard one single song of Cardi B. I don't even know what she does or says or anything. All I know is she is a megastar, and everybody in the world, except for me, has heard of her. So I'm the crazy one, not y'all. Thank you, Cody. Does it really sound better? This thing is a little bit closer to my mouth, so this might actually help with the audio. Like I said, for those of you who've been following along over the past few weeks and the last few episodes, and maybe the last 2 months, I've got a lot of changes going on to the channel right now throughout the summer. Little things at first, cosmetic stuff, you know, changing up my overlays, my templates, getting a new intro made, maybe a new logo, shit like that. Got a new mic stand. The new desk comes this week. I got a new computer coming, new camera, all that stuff. So slowly as we go through the summer here, it's going to be like one subtle change after another, and then it'll slowly get really polished, and by the time we get to the end of the summer, it's going to be looking all right in here. I really got to work on my lighting because from what I can tell of myself, I'm not happy with the lighting, but I got a couple of new lights coming in. I'm going to change everything. So it's going to be a fun summer here on the channel. Cardi B is a WWE fan. Good for her. I just don't give a shit about bringing these people in. Like, you know, sometimes, I mean, what would you guys give the percentage to as far as celebs that are brought in that are actually either entertaining or do well or wrestle well or whatever? I can probably name on one hand, you know, Mike Tyson, Lawrence Taylor, you know, maybe a few others, but just every time they try to capitalize on somebody's, you know, mega stardom like this, it's just so shitty. Who brought up Snooki earlier on? Same thing. You know, Snooki was the talk of the town back at whatever WrestleMania that was that she was a part of. 25 maybe, something like that. I mean, damn. So I don't know anything about Cardi B. Don't give a shit about her. Don't really care to see her. A lot of fans are like kind of rolling their eyes at the possibility of her being involved in SummerSlam. But you got to understand, you know, SummerSlam is one of WWE's big shows. It's not the first time they brought celebrities into a SummerSlam. The last one I can remember, Stephen Amell, Jon Stewart, might have been some other guys, but you know, it's kind of what they do. So I'm not necessarily against the idea of bringing in a celebrity. It's just like, Jesus, you know, who the hell is this great? Who the hell is this girl? I don't even know who she is. GoodMicWork in 4K, sexy beast. I'm not in 4K yet. This is still my shitty 1080p cam, but I got a 4K cam on the way. Maybe 2 weeks, new cam should be up and running. Hopefully. We shall see. Kevin Federline. I'm Eskimo Brothers with Kevin Federline. That's kind of a weird story to be told later. Mr. Solo Loke Rager. Thanks for the $2, dude. King of the Ring would be great right now. Hell yeah. I think that them replacing King of the Ring with Money in the Bank would have been fine if they were going to make Money in the Bank a top 5 pay-per-view, which is what they were doing. But now, this past year, they moved Money in the Bank to May. Now we've got Stomping Grounds coming up in, what, a week? It's just, oh my God. I'd much rather put King of the Ring back in that June time slot, or June slot, and just have that be one of the big major pay-per-views. And it looked like they were doing that with Money in the Bank, but the Saudi Arabia deal has goofed everything up. It's screwing everything up. But yeah, I agree totally. King of the Ring would be nice to have back. And not the shitty King of the Ring. Not the kind that they do on TV, and they stretch it out over 5 weeks of Raw, and then they do 2 matches or the finals at the King of the Ring pay-per-view. Nothing like that. I mean a full-blown 8-man tournament night of. They haven't done that since 1995. They did it the first 3 years. 3, 4, 5. 93, 94, 95, and then by 96, they were doing it on TV. Such a shame. I'm glad you brought this up, Mike Witt. Maybe we'll open with this topic, but thank you for the $5. Hey, Greg, I'm usually not the kind of guy to boycott stuff, but if they put the belt on Shane, I am going to take a break from WWE for a while. Ugh. Number one, I don't blame you. But here's the thing I'm going to say about Shane, and I want to preface this up front by saying I agree with everybody that says putting the belt on Shane McMahon is not something that we want to see. I agree. I mean, Shane McMahon, I mean, he's a lot like his dad. When he gets in the ring, he is just a fucking potato master from hell. He's super uncoordinated. I think he's better than his dad as far as his guts. Well, maybe not his guts, but his athleticism. I mean, Vince is just as crazy as Shane. But Shane does not give a fuck. And Shane certainly doesn't go out there and go through the motions. He puts forth an unbelievable effort and puts his body severely on the line. And he's been doing this for 20 years. Falling off of shit. I don't care if there's a crash pad there or not. Shane takes huge risks every time he has a big-time money match. So at least he's not going out there jerking off. He's going out there taking it seriously. I posed this question to the 138 people in the chat right now. Think about 3 years ago. It's been a little bit over 3. When Shane McMahon returned to Raw in 2016. They set the whole thing up by giving some bullshit award to Stephanie, right? And then Shane McMahon showed up. Compare the pop that Shane got that night to some of the biggest returns or the biggest pops in professional wrestling history. It's up there. It is up there with the best. So I ask you this. If this was June of 2016, not June of 2019, and there were rumors of Shane McMahon winning the WWE title, would you be as against it right now? Or would you be as against it then as you are right now? I would like to say no. I think most of the fans, if this rumor was circulating 3 years ago, maybe it wouldn't be their favorite thing in the world. Maybe they'd say, Shane's not really a wrestler. Is that really what we want to do? They may say that. But I guarantee you at the same time, we might also be saying, well, we really like Shane. Shane's awesome. We've missed him. He's been gone for 9 years. We miss this crazy son of a bitch. Sure, if they want to give him a cup of coffee with the WWE title, don't give him a 6-month run or anything. But if they want to have him hold the belt for a couple of weeks or a couple of days like his dad, really isn't going to hurt anybody. You know what I mean? So the way I look at it is that I agree that I do not want to see Shane be the champion. I don't. But try to put your mind where it was in 2016. What has really changed with Shane? He's the same dude other than the fact he's a heel. He still goes out there at age 50 and damn near kills himself in wrestling matches. Up until a little while ago, everybody was okay with Shane. And maybe, I'll grant you this, maybe everybody was okay with Shane for what he was doing. Okay, we like Shane here. We're fine with it. He's cool. But they shouldn't put a belt on him. Maybe people would be saying that. But I think overall, I think people would have a lot less trouble or problem with him being champion 3 years ago than they do now. I think this is a compounding of the frustration and just a culmination of all the anger and the bullshit that we've been going through on Raw and SmackDown and in WWE in general for the past several months. Creative is in the complete toilet with everything. So when they come out with an idea, hey, get out of the cabinet. Tito was in the cabinet. When they when we start hearing rumors about Shane McMahon becoming champion in the current climate that we're in now, of course we're going to have a huge problem with that. But 3 years ago, I don't know if we would have. So hey, get out of here, little fucker. Anyway, I just don't think that Shane McMahon winning the title is going to be that big of a deal at the end of the day if they choose to do it, because I don't think that Shane's going to be holding the belt for 6 months. Now, granted, what they did with Kofi, having him win the title at WrestleMania, beating Daniel Bryan, this great emotional feel-good story, Kofi has done a lot better than I expected him to as champion. I was almost on the same camp of some people that feel WWE just gave him the title. His run probably won't be much. His best moments were leading up to WrestleMania and at WrestleMania itself. Excuse me. had to scare my cat away. But after winning the title, I thought it was going to be all downhill for Kofi, but he's held his own. His matches have been good. They've been a little weird. He's fought, who's he wrestled? Kevin Owens and Ziggler. Now he's got a rematch with Ziggler again. Is that the match that's in the cage? It's in a cage, right? Stomping Grounds. And I fully expect him to retain there. So what does he do next? Shane McMahon. He just beat Roman Reigns, for crying out loud. And he's Mr. World Cup, best in the world. He's got the ring announcer, poor Gregory Hamilton, belting out his entrance every night. They are really making a big deal about Shane McMahon. So I think the writing might be on the wall. I think a lot of us have got the right idea here, and that we're all thinking that signs are pointing to them putting the belt on Shane, and that's going to be a big problem. Now, it's not going to be enough for me personally to say, I'm not going to watch WWE anymore. I can't stand this shit. You know, to me, putting the belt on Shane isn't necessarily going to be anything worse than what we're seeing currently. You know, what's worse? Putting the belt on Shane McMahon or half the other shit they do on Raw and SmackDown every week? This stupid-ass wild card rule has gotten to the point where now when I watch Raw and then I turn around the next night and watch SmackDown, I feel like I'm watching the same show. It's the same people. They're not paying attention at all to the wild card rule. None whatsoever. They've broken the 4-man wild card rule, I believe, every single week they've done it. You guys have to tell me. You're the researchers here. How many times since the wild card rule was implemented have they actually adhered to it? I don't think at all. Say hi to a few more people. 150 people in here so far. That's pretty good for a Saturday night. Big J, you know, there's also the Big E, of course, returned this past week on SmackDown. I haven't been able to tell if they're teasing anything with him yet. A lot of us have been speculating that maybe he could go heel. Maybe some sort of a New Day implosion could be the reason that Kofi drops the belt. That's still a possibility. I'd rather see that than Shane. But if Kofi drops the belt to a mega heel Shane, I think Shane can be a good heel. Cool thing about Shane is that he is a good babyface, because when he's a babyface, most people like him. And when he's a heel, most people hate him. Because back in the day, he used to be a heel, remember? Back in the corporation days and feuding with Steve Blackman and shit like that, and feuding with Vince McMahon, the big WrestleMania match, Shane's a great heel. But when he's a babyface, he is a babyface. Fans love him. So he's good in that regard, but he's not a wrestler. And I don't think you should be putting world titles on him unless you just want to have in the record books that both McMahons held the title. And Stephanie, you got to remember, Stephanie technically is a WWE Women's Champion, former Women's Champion. She won it, back in like 2000, right? So that would put a world title on every McMahon family member with the exception of Linda. Maybe she could come back and win the hardcore title. Or not the hardcore, the 24/7. So, to me, it's like a double-edged sword. I'm very much in agreement with everybody that says, oh my God, we're going to put the belt on Shane McMahon. Are you fucking kidding me? It's stupid. Yeah, I agree. But at the same time, if they do that, it's not going to be enough for me to say, oh, I'm done watching WWE. Given the shit that we've been seeing from this company over the past few months, they have done a hell of a lot worse than putting the belt on a McMahon family member. And that's saying something. To me, I will have Shane McMahon be a world champion for a year straight before I will have Raw rewrites taking place as the show is going live and you still don't know what the hell you're doing in the main event. Vince McMahon flying off the rails about something, changing his mind, dropping people's last names, changing the War Raiders into the Viking Experience, having your tag team champions not be on TV for 5 weeks, all of this other stupid shit that they do literally on a daily basis. I will take Shane McMahon being champion over all of that stuff any day of the week. So I'm trying to play devil's advocate here and trying to look at both sides and try to look at, you know, if we want to make this thing something that we're pissed about, at least try to understand the context of everything else that's going on and saying, is it really that much worse than what we're already seeing from WWE? You know, so disgracing the title, you know, at this point is like the least of my concerns. So I really don't care. They want to put the belt on Shane, fine, fuck it. Good news is, the more stupid shit like this WWE does, all that's going to do is push the fans more towards All Elite Wrestling. Right? And on top of this, forget about Shane McMahon. We got another guy floating around that is just as bad. Baron Corbin. And at least he is a wrestler. At least he is a trained professional who's in the ring, who's, please do not unsubscribe to me when I tell you this. Aside from his Applebee's busboy status, his stupid fucking outfit. By the way, if there's any super chats I missed, I'll hit those in a second. Despite everything that's horrible about him just being an undesirable person to see on TV, he's not bad in the ring. He can have good matches. He's good on the mic. He's good at talking on the mic, I should say. His promos are boring and they suck and they're awful. But when you think about Baron Corbin's promos, and again, I'm live streaming on Mondays. I'm doing a lot of running my mouth. I'm not paying full attention. So you guys have to answer me this. Since Baron Corbin has become this Constable Corbin, how many times since then, or at all really in his career, can you remember him getting on the mic and fucking up? And botching, forgetting his lines, being lost, nervous, uncomfortable, anything like that. The dude seems completely comfortable out there. He's botched a hell of a lot less on the mic than Becky Lynch or a lot of other people that we like. So I think in the ring, Corbin is solid. And as a physical speaker, Corbin is solid. His promos are shit. They script shit for him. We hate his character. He doesn't do anything for us. He doesn't stimulate us in any way, shape, or form as a heel or a babyface or anything. So we just don't want to see him. And that's a big... that's the difference in the type of heat heels can have. You have some heels that have the type of heat where the fans want to see that guy get what's coming to him, get his ass kicked, and you have other heels that fans just don't want to see at all. Corbin falls into the category of we just don't want to see him at all. But when you take all of that away and you judge the foundation of what you have there, decent on the mic, decent in the ring, at least he's a champ. At least he's a wrestler, you know? So who would you rather have? I think WWE would be out of their goddamn minds if they put the belts on Shane McMahon and Baron Corbin. Holy shit. You talk about World War III. So what if it can only be one? Which one? Corbin or Shane? Who would you guys prefer? While y'all mull that over, I'm going to jump up here and read a couple of super chats. I think I've got one from Mike Witt. And if I'm missing anybody else, let me know. Why are they kind of misusing the Miz lately? Misusing. I don't know if they're really misusing him. They're using him the same. The only thing that they've been doing differently with the Miz, in my opinion, is having him lose to Shane McMahon. He lost. I predicted him to win at WrestleMania, and he lost. And then I predicted him to win the cage match, since I figured that would be the blow-off, and he also lost. So aside from losing to Shane a couple of times, Miz, I feel, is the same place on the card as he's always been. He has his TV shows. He brings people out. He talks to them. He's trying to be a babyface right now. Miz has tried to be a babyface before. I didn't really like it the first time. Not a huge fan of it this time either. And I thought the guy was on pace. I thought the guy was being groomed for another run. You got to remember, the Miz has not held that title since, 2011? He's had a 8 or 9 year drought with a world title. I think he's long overdue. I think he's much improved. I find the Miz entertaining, and I think he's ready. But it doesn't look like they're going in that direction, at least right now. So we'll have to find out if Miz turns into one of those pieces of talent like Sasha Banks who wants to quit, or if they put the belt on him again one day. But I think he's going to get there. I think Miz is liked by the company. I think Vince likes him. I think the whole company likes him. He's a good guy to have out there doing public appearances and shit like that. I think the Miz has got a job for life. Whether he'll find his way back to the Universal or WWE title again, I don't know. I thought that's where he was headed. Hell, a year ago, I thought he was on pace to beat Daniel Bryan for the title at WrestleMania this year. But they didn't do that. They went in a completely different direction. So I thought that would have been so ironic with the feud between, while Daniel Bryan was injured, all of the beef between Miz and Shane, or Miz and Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan is this beloved babyface. Miz is an asshole, giving him shit throughout the entire course of a couple of years when Daniel Bryan can't wrestle. He gets cleared, wins the belt, and turns heel. Miz turns babyface, and Miz winds up beating a heel Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania for the title. I thought would have been fun because it was the exact opposite scenario of what we envisioned. We always thought it was going to be Daniel Bryan getting his big moment. I thought the Miz was going to win the Royal Rumble, or the Miz was going to win the WWE title, and then Daniel Bryan would win the Royal Rumble as a babyface, go into WrestleMania and beat the Miz. We didn't see either scenario happen, but I thought it would have been fun to do that. If Miz gets back to the championship one day, I don't know, but I think it's not going to be in 2019. I just don't feel it. Reese Jones, thanks for the $5, brother. Always good to see you in here, and always good to hear from you. Putting the title on Shane could be their way of putting Roman back in the title picture. True that. Very true, because Roman has now taken a loss to Shane McMahon, which means that's not going to go just ignored. It's not like Roman's going to go the rest of his career without ever getting that win back. So there's going to be some sort of a rematch with him and Shane in the future. Roman has got a match against Drew McIntyre at Stomping Grounds, which I think sucks because I'm a big Drew McIntyre fan. And at WrestleMania, when they put that match together, I conceded. I said, okay, Roman is going to beat this guy. That's fine. Beat him, get it over with, and get it done. At the end of the day, there's really no shame in losing to a 4-time WWE champion. I think Drew can bounce back from this loss. It won't be a burial type of thing or whatever. What I don't want to see happen is to Roman beat this guy again at Stomping Grounds. If you are not going to have Drew McIntyre win this match, why are you having the match? Why are you gonna beat this hoss? I mean, Drew McIntyre is just the absolute spitting image of what I would expect Vince McMahon to want in a superstar athlete. He's got the look, he's got the physique, he can talk on the mic, he's got the ability, good in the ring. There's literally no downside whatsoever into building Drew McIntyre as a big star, based on everything that he has to offer. So now you're going to put him in the ring, have him lose to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, fine. But why are you going to do it again in June? Isn't that like overkill? Why do that? Why beat this guy again when you've got a star in the palm of your hand right now? You already made this mistake with Braun Strowman. I mean, if you would have asked me, 2 years ago, if Braun Strowman was going to win the Universal title, I would have been 1,000,000% yes, guaranteed that he will. And I kind of still think he eventually will, but by this point, it's too late. He's no longer the ass-kicking, super over monster Strowman. He's now Big Show 2.0. So who cares if he wins the belt now? It's over. The magic is over. So now I don't want to see him do the same thing here to Drew McIntyre when I still feel like the guy is not completely lost yet. But he's gonna get speared and pinned. I mean, is Roman Reigns really gonna lose to Shane McMahon in Saudi Arabia and then turn around and lose to Drew McIntyre in Stomping Grounds? I think he should lose to Drew McIntyre because he beat him at WrestleMania. Give McIntyre the win back. Technically, they're on separate brands. But I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Roman's gonna beat him. Who's talking about the Arrowhead Pond? That is right up the road for me. Hey, pretty good audience in here for a Saturday night. Nearly 200 people. We all do me a big favor. Smash that thumbs up button for me. And to try to get these likes up, make sure you subscribe if you have not yet already. Follow me over on the Twitter at GoodMicWork. Although there's some sort of glitch going on with Twitter today. I seem to be, at least I think I am, I seem to be following like 25 less people than I was yesterday. So I don't know what that's about. And I've been seeing some Twitter glitches going around, but I haven't been home all day, so I don't know if anybody knows anything about that. But make sure you follow me over there because I'm always chattery and always chatty and talkative over there, I should say. Chat, site, forums. Did he really? Reigns beat Drew at Money in the Bank? That pay-per-view was last month. How do I not remember this? Well, Cody, speaking of Shane, that's another thing. Like, let's say, okay, WWE's going to put the title on Shane. Okay, fine. When do they do it? Do they do it at the July pay-per-view? Certainly they don't do it at SummerSlam, do they? If it was me and WWE is insisting on putting the belt on Shane McMahon, I'd probably do it in July and have him drop it at SummerSlam. Because if Shane wins the title, it has to be short. Because that's the thing, I can live with it. I'm not going to take a steel chair or an ordinary household item and smash it through the screen of my TV. I'm not going to cancel my network. I'm not going to boycott WWE. I'm not going to come up here on YouTube and literally scream into this microphone. I'm going to be like, well, he won the title. The bitch better lose it at SummerSlam. And if he doesn't, I'm going to have a problem. So I think I'll be sane through the initial win, but I'll be really hoping he drops it soon. Now, if he wins the belt in July and come Survivor Series, this asshole is still champ, that's going to be a problem. But if you want to put the belt on him for 4 weeks, who fucking cares? At this point, what does it matter? What does it matter? Is it any better or worse? anything, is it going to make anything better or worse than what we've seen on TV lately? And that's why I want to get into Corbin too, because Corbin has got a match at Stomping Grounds with Seth Rollins. Now, Brock Lesnar, in my head, I'm going to kind of put him off on the back burner for right now. I think Brock Lesnar might be off TV for a little while. He'll start teasing this shit again around SummerSlam time. So I think Seth might actually be safe for the next couple of title defenses. And he's got Corbin coming up next at Stomping Grounds, and there's been a lot of talk about putting the belt on Corbin too. Thank you, Reese. I don't know who said that. Roman beat Elias at Money in the Bank. That's right. That was a super short match, right? Yeah, I didn't think that rang a bell. No, I am not. I'm going to talk about that too. I'm not reacting to Fyter Fest. I will not be home. That is on. I've got the date pulled up on here on my notes. Fyter Fest is June 29th, free on BR Live. So they are streaming that completely free, which I love because Chris Jericho pulled out of the show, or pulled out because he's not going to associate with himself with a free show and all this shit. So I like that. And we're going to talk about Fyter Fest and we're going to talk about All Out in a minute. But I want to start with Baron Corbin. As I read some text messages. Hold on one second. Haha. Thank you, Miss Elizabeth. Mwah. Mike looks great and sounds very clear. Okay, good. So I've got confirmation from the girlfriend that things look pretty fly up here. But Baron Corbin, for those of you who follow me on Twitter, I put up a scenario yesterday on Twitter. I had an idea regarding Baron Corbin. And Baron Corbin is another guy that I feel like you can almost see the writing on the wall with WWE. You can tell when guys are going to fucking win the title. And I feel that Baron Corbin, at some point in the future, will absolutely be the WWE Universal Champion or World Champion. Because WWE likes him. You can just tell he's a part of this. They just threw him right into that like authority storyline and that authority angle and gimmick. And he wore the vest and he's got the mic and he talks all the time and he's on the show constantly. And I think if the ratings weren't so bad right now, fan frustration was not at an all-time high, and just overall dislike for WWE was not as strong as it is right now, I almost guarantee that this fucker would win the title at Stomping Grounds. Because you know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of JBL. Same thing. Eddie Guerrero wins the title, WrestleMania, big, wonderful, or not wins the title from Brock, I'm sorry, No Way Out. Has the big moment at WrestleMania with Benoit. Him and Benoit are both launched. He just wins the title, and then come June or Great American Bash or whatever it was, he drops the belt to JBL, a guy that nobody liked, nobody wanted to see, a douchebag. Eddie Guerrero was beloved, and JBL, fans were just sour on him. I loved Bradshaw in the APA, and I liked a lot of Bradshaw's career, but I did not like this character, and he didn't do a whole lot for me. But WWE put the belt on him anyway. And you got to remember, you got to take yourself back to that time. 2004 JBL, as far as the level of over that he was and the fans' feelings towards him, is pretty much the same as Baron Corbin. We hated both guys. Absolutely hated them. And we didn't want to see either one win the belt. But JBL did. And so this reminds me a lot of that. But I think what might save Seth Rollins is the fact that shit is so horrible right now. And the fans are so pissed off. If WWE does something like this, surely one of those monkeys that works in that company has got to say to themselves, okay, this might not be a good idea. We're going to receive a shit ton of backlash. Might not be the best timing with All Elite Wrestling just launching their first pay-per-view. They got Fyter Fest coming up. All Out is a sellout in August. Fans are all going nuts over this brand. Maybe we should not poke the bear right now. So I think maybe the fans' anger might save Seth Rollins' run, and they might postpone Baron Corbin's title win for a while, or just a little while. And I will catch up these super chats in a minute. So what I proposed is that maybe you can do something fun, and maybe like a throwback to Steve Austin and Kane at King of the Ring 98. I just watched that match the other night, or the Raw after. Kane wins the title in the first blood match, all fucked up, shady-ass way. Undertaker came out there to help him win. You can do the same thing with Baron Corbin at Stomping Grounds. Maybe Lashley or McIntyre, I don't know. Maybe even Brock. Not Brock. Something happens. Baron Corbin wins the title in some super crazy fucked up way. Seth Rollins comes out the next night on Monday Night Raw, demands a rematch in the main event for the title, and you have Seth win it back the next night, giving Baron Corbin a 1-day, a 24-hour title run, which will be a really fun 24 hours because between the time of him winning the title at Stomping Grounds and dropping it on Raw, you are going to have some Twitter fun. And the internet is going to explode. You're going to have people canceling their networks, completely dumping diarrhea into their panties, coming up on YouTube and screaming into their microphones. They're going to tweet in all capital letters, and they're going to completely do everything short of throwing themselves off a fucking skyscraper to voice their disapproval of this idea. And then the very next night, you make it all right and you give the belt back to Seth. It would give us a range of emotions. Everybody would be angry, then everybody would be happy. It would stimulate us. And that's what I said on Twitter yesterday. I'm like, every single Raw and SmackDown, to me anyway, feels like the same show, the same shit. It's boring, it's stale, it does nothing for us emotionally at all. We're not invested in anything. We can't wait for the show to end. Unlike back in the day when Raw would leave you wanting more, now it leaves us wanting less. At least having this happen will spark some emotions in us. It'll get the fans' juices flowing. They'll be pissed for one night and then they'll be happy the next. And I think if they do want to technically make Baron Corbin a former world champion, I'd much rather have the guy hold the belt for a day than 6 months or something like that. So maybe he initially holds it for that one day, Seth wins it back and goes on with his run, and Brock cashes in at some point. Brock is going to win that title again with that briefcase. Brock is not the type of guy I would expect to unsuccessfully cash in the briefcase, especially since he's already had a couple of hiccups with it. So when he cashes it in, he'll either do that on Seth or he might do it on Kofi. But I think that's going to happen. But between now and then, maybe just have a little bit of fun. And when I posed that question or I pitched that idea on Twitter, most people were in agreement with it. But some people were like, oh my God, anybody but Corbin. I'm like, seriously? Like, I'm not a big Baron Corbin fan either, but is it really going to kill you if the motherfucker holds the belt for 24 hours? What is the difference? Does it matter? Same thing with Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon better not win the title. Yes, I agree with you, but let's say that he does. Is it really make the product any worse than it already was? The WWE product right now creatively is in the toilet. I do not care who wins these world titles right now. To me, there are much bigger creative problems than who's walking around with that big ugly ass fucking belt. I don't care. I don't care. I literally don't care. To me, the problems are much bigger than that. And I think it's not going to do WWE any favors in terms of the fans' frustration and anger. It's going to flood their Twitter timeline with a bunch of pissed off people and all of that. But really, at the end of the day, when you look at what they've been giving us and what we've been seeing from that company over the past several months and how badly they've been dropping the ball creatively and with a lot of other different situations, would a title win by either one of these guys really be the end of the world? It wouldn't be ideal. Wouldn't be our favorite thing, but would it really matter? You know what I mean? Especially if they were relatively short runs. What if Shane's is a month? Or what if Corbin's is a day? Who cares? Now, you put the belt on one of these guys and have them hold it for 6 months to a year, then we can talk. But a cup of coffee, who cares? And it might be something nice. I mean, you got to understand, Shane McMahon is 50 years old. If they ever want to put the belt on this guy at all, or to have him go in the record books as being a former world champion, somebody to hold his father's belt, you can't wait too much longer. You better do it now. He'll get amazing heel heat. I might even be like 10% okay with it. I feel like I'm 90% against the idea, but a part of me kind of wants to see what would happen. So I ain't canceling my network. Before we get on to the next thing, or next order of business, which is going to be a lot of All Elite Wrestling stuff with All Out, Fyter Fest, shit like that, I want to catch up on the Super Chats. So let me scroll up a little bit here and grab the ones that I missed. Where are we at? Where are we at? Oh, I didn't miss that many. One or two. Or two or three. Where? Alex Bryant. Thank you, brother. Thanks for the $2. Can you start over? I just got here. No, I cannot start over. You didn't miss much. I got home really late. I was supposed to come up here at the top of the hour at 7 p.m. local time here for me on the Pacific Coast. And 10 p.m. on the East Coast, but I got stuck at my parents' house having a little family get-together that I thought would end a lot earlier than this, but I found myself speeding and driving home, and I came up here 30 minutes late. So I kind of just shot the shit, collected myself, read the chat, and caught my breath before we really got into the meat and potatoes here, Alex. So you have not missed much. Mike Witt, thank you for another $5, and I think you hit me with another 2 below that. Brock cashes in on Seth, and just about the time he's about to win the belt, Matt Riddle comes out and costs him the match, setting up a feud with them. Matt Riddle tweeted when Brock won the briefcase that he was going to be on Monday Night Raw. Matt Riddle has made it very well known that he wants to have a match with Brock one day. I think for a guy like Brock, if you're going to beat him with some new guy, you have to have a little bit more of a build-up to that. So I can't see Matt Riddle just randomly showing up from NXT, costing Brock the match, and then that's it. I think there's a lot of casual fans that might not be as familiar with Matt Riddle as the rest of us are, and the way WWE thinks, and the way Vince and Kevin Dunn like to do shit. I would think if you ever are going to have Matt Riddle be the guy to beat Brock Lesnar, they want to see how he does on the main roster for a little while. Kevin Dunn and Vince are not going to just automatically trust him sight unseen. I don't even know how Vince is going to feel with this motherfucker wrestling barefoot, to be honest. So I think they have to like him, they have to be okay with it, and they have to be on board with it, because no matter how well he does in NXT, as we have seen countless times with other talent there, doesn't mean shit when you get to the main roster. So I'm a big Matt Riddle fan. I like him. He reminds me a lot of my friends. I live here in Southern California, and I know so many stoner dudes that are just like him. And plus, he's a badass, and he's young, and he's athletic, and he's talented, and I see star potential in him. Maybe I'll be right. Maybe I'll be wrong. Who knows? But if he's going to face Brock one day, which I hope that he does, I think he has to make some waves on the main roster first before WWE puts him in that position. If it was up to me, I'd put him in that position tomorrow. But it's not up to me. It's up to Vince, Kevin Dunn, and all the other fuck faces that are in charge back there. And that's a whole different animal. Spaz Phoenix, good to see you in here, man. Thanks for the $5 Canadian. Hey, brother, keep up the good shit. I'm trying to, man. Got some controversial AEW and Saudi Arabia content up if your awesome community is interested. Yeah, if y'all want to go take a look at Spaz Phoenix's channel, go shoot him a subscription over there. And he's got some controversial AEW and Saudi Arabia content, so that's interesting. A lot of people, AEW is they're a very heavily debated topic right now, because you have some people in the camp. I'm right in the middle. There seems to be two camps. There seems to be the camp that thinks that are so crazy, they're stupid enough to think that AEW is going to put the WWE out of business in 3 weeks. And then you have the other side of the camp that thinks AEW is an independent, rinky-dink, bingo hall company. Neither one are true. Neither one of those scenarios are true. The truth is somewhere in the middle, and that's where I lie. I think AEW should not be taken lightly. You should take notice to them selling out arenas like this. You should take notice to the fans getting behind them. But at the same time, a lot of this is hype right now. And I think they're selling a lot of these tickets based on hype, not based on card. I don't think the wrestlers or the matches themselves are selling out all out. They've announced Moxley versus Omega, which we already knew. And they announced Jericho versus Page, which we already knew. But I think based on the hype of All Elite Wrestling, I think they would have sold out all out in 15 minutes with 0 matches on the card. I think the excitement is just that high for that company, and the fans want them to succeed so bad that they're just buying tickets and buying pay-per-views. And I'm right there with them. I want to see AEW succeed as well. I want nothing but the best for All Elite. But I also have to be realistic with my expectations of how they're going to turn out, and know that they're not going to be an automatic equal to WWE right out of the gate. It's going to take some time, and it's a slow process, and it's a marathon, not a sprint kind of thing. And most wrestling fans, the one main thing that I find that they lack whenever I deal with fans on social media, YouTube, live streams, whatever, the one big thing that I think a lot of fans just do not have is patience. They want everything, and they want it yesterday. They have no patience to wait anything out. I've seen that time and time again, with John Cena winning the title in 2014 and the fans flipping out. And I'm like, can y'all not see that he's about to drop this thing to Brock in 2 months? Can you not just survive 8 weeks with John Cena as champion to get to the anal raping that he's going to suffer at SummerSlam, and that's exactly what happened. And the reason the fans are so against that is because they have no patience. And I think a lot of that is going to be the case with All Elite Wrestling. They might start out real high. Hype is going to be high, and then maybe it dwindles, and maybe it fades a little bit. And then they have to build themselves back up. So I think it's going to be a lot of peaks and valleys for All Elite Wrestling, and I'm not ready, number one, to bury them and say they have no chance to compete WWE, but I'm also not going to put them on the top of the mountain and anoint them the new king of wrestling, because I think neither is true. So I think as a wrestling fan, we all need to support and hope for the best for All Elite Wrestling. It makes absolutely no sense at all to wish harm on them or to hope that they don't succeed or hope that it's a failed project, because WWE's over here busy cornering the market on the rest of professional wrestling. Look at what they're doing in the indies. WWE is eliminating independent territories, essentially, by going over the UK and shit like that. So there is this conscious effort about the WWE. They want to control like everything. So the fact that there's somebody else out there that's able to give people a place to go work, I think is phenomenal. And WWE, under their own umbrella, has a fantastic alternative brand called NXT that I think is the best brand in wrestling today. And I think that should be AEW's primary focus. Try to compete with the fan excitement and love that brand has. Because WWE is an easy target. It's very cool, it's very in, it's very hip, and it's very easy to hate on WWE because they suck. NXT, however, is a whole different ball of wax. And that's still under the WWE umbrella. So when you say WWE sucks, really only one part of WWE sucks. The creative on their main roster. NXT is awesome. The talent they have is awesome. Probably the best overall talent roster if you take WWE, Raw, SmackDown, NXT. You take all that talent in that company's 60-year history, it's never been better. Ever. But television ratings aren't reflecting that. Creative storylines aren't reflecting that. Talent is not getting over and connecting with the audience in a way that would reflect the great talent that they have. It's just a mess. So All Elite Wrestling is a great place for the frustrated wrestling fan to be, but you have to be realistic about how they're going to do right out of the gate. They have to have their first show. They barely had a first show. They haven't even started on TNT yet. So I am all about All Elite Wrestling. I want them to succeed and all of that, but I wish more fans were more in the middle of it. I think fans are... This little guy. Do you see him? Do you see him back here? What's your problem, man? I'm trying to do a stream. Oh, I didn't even put my chair out. I forgot to put my chair out. Anyway, did I miss any other super chats? I got another one down here from Mike. Thanks again, dude. Do you think Punk will actually show up in Chicago? I don't know, man. I hope so. I think it would just be so perfect. I did see an interview with Cody Rhodes, and he said that it would be a disservice, basically, to a lot of the other talent for them to put all of their energy into signing CM Punk, put all of their energy into trying to recruit CM Punk to come in. My instinct, my gut tells me that he's going to be there, because if CM Punk does not show up at All In Chicago, I truly believe that he will never return to wrestling, because there is no better place for him to reappear onto the scene. And I've talked about this before. There is zero, nada, no downside whatsoever from the perspective of CM Punk to show up at All Elite Wrestling. It accomplishes so many goals. Number one, gives him a fat payday for doing nothing. He has to show up there, smile, cut a 10-minute promo, and he's got $1 million in his pocket. And on top of that, if he still feels as strongly about the WWE as he did back in 2014 when he left, this should be a really fun middle finger to that company. Hey guys, remember me? Fuck you. I'm never coming back. I'm here now. I'm on these guys' team. And I'm one of the biggest names. I've been gone from the wrestling business for 5 years, and my name is still chanted on a weekly basis in every wrestling crowd, in every arena, in every promotion across the country. That's powerful. So if you want to come back and make a splash, and if you want to, and if nothing else, maybe CM Punk would realize, you know what? This will do these guys a favor. This will help them out. This will help them and hurt the WWE, which should be everything that CM Punk wants. And especially when you think of the amount of work he's going to have to do. What are we talking here? A promo? Couple of matches? He could come in and sign a one-shot deal or something, or come in and sign a 6-month deal, work 3 pay-per-views and a couple of TV shows. He doesn't have to come in full-time or anything. Just come in. Just be there. Make a splash. Make some waves. That would get... I mean, can you imagine? We remember how Double or Nothing was trending all over Twitter and all that shit. You know, it was the talk of the town all weekend long. I'm going to kill you. And that was just based on what they had. That was off the Dustin and Cody match and everything else they had on the show. Everything that was advertised. You know, and then Moxley showing up at the very end. Think about the buzz that created online. Now imagine if you do that again, but this time it's CM Punk showing up, not Jon Moxley. Holy shit. So if I'm CM Punk, it's a win-win for everybody involved. It's a payday. It helps out a company that can really use, you know, the lift, the buzz, and all of that. And imagine what that would do to social media, to Twitter, on the same night that CM Punk shows up. Imagine my live stream that night. Imagine my review of All Out that night if CM Punk comes back. That's going to be fun shit, man. So I think he should come back. I think he should do it. And I hope he shows up in Chicago. And if he does not, part of me wonders if he ever will, because there's no better place for him to show up than right there. Hometown, All Elite Wrestling, weeks away from debuting on cable TV to compete with WWE. If I'm Tony Khan, or if I'm anybody with any sort of money in that company, or any sort of say or power or whatever, I'm throwing as much money as I can at him to bring him in. What would be the difference? What would be the difference of them throwing a bunch of money at CM Punk to come in and do nothing than WWE doing the same thing with Brock? CM Punk's a name, and CM Punk's going to create a whole bunch of publicity for them. So I hope that he brings him in. I hope they bring him in. I miss any other super chats? Another one from Mike Witt. Is that all I missed you? Is that the only one I missed from you? Yeah, and maybe AJ Lee shows up. That's very possible. It could be. Let me kill my cat real quick. There we go. Got him out of the way. Oh, man. I'll get back in my chair here. Sorry about that. I told you guys I got right in the door here and immediately started streaming, so my cats are used to getting a little bit of attention first. But we're good to go now. And All Out, by the way, incidentally, the pay-per-view did, excuse me, it did technically sell out, I guess, in 15 minutes. Now, spare me, yeah, it's really not a sellout. Spare me what defines a sellout. I don't care about that. This is a very big deal. This is great. I mean, this is a big arena. If you're comparing it to WWE, it's not a big deal. WWE sells out arenas that size all the time. Dave Meltzer even famously said this week, or said when it happened, it sold out faster than WrestleMania. Well, the building is 1/10 the size of what WrestleMania runs. So I think, you know, again, you can even point to the wrestling journalists of having a little bit of bias and skew to their reporting. All Elite Wrestling, because that's a good looking headline. All Out sells out faster than WrestleMania. Of course that looks good. But really, if you really want to dig into it, it's not that big a deal. What are they selling tickets for? $15? You know, some of them at Double or at All Out. You know, some of the more expensive seats. So I think it's a great accomplishment because they're new. When you have a new company that's barely even had any shows yet, it's all just been going on promotion and word of mouth from fans and social media. For them to sell out a building like that is a huge accomplishment and should not be taken lightly. And if anybody blows it off, you're stupid, because that is a big deal. But on the other side of that coin, you can't compare it to WWE. You know, you can't say, oh, they're selling out faster than WrestleMania. It's two completely different animals. You know, so again, you have the same thing going on here. You have fans and you have people that are getting way too excited about All Elite Wrestling and trying to spin the headlines to make them look a lot bigger than they are. And then you have other people that think that they're not going to amount to anything, which is also untrue. But selling out All Out is nothing to sneeze at. And I'm happy for them. And I'm glad that fan excitement for that is so high. It's going to be a fun weekend in Chicago because they're going to be doing StarCast 3. The whole weekend of festivities is very fun. It brings a lot of fans in. And that might be cool for them to do if they only do a few pay-per-views a year. I don't know how many they're going to wind up doing. But if they tie in a StarCast event to every single one of these, that's going to be a fun thing for fans to go do. Now, unfortunately, I probably won't make that show either. I really wanted to be in Vegas, but Hawaii made that impossible because I just got back. And now, with All Out, it's going to be tough for me to pull that off too on like Labor Day weekend or whatever in early September there. So I don't think I'll make that either, which sucks. Missing some super chats, but I wish I was there. Although Chicago's kind of scary place to be. Spaz, thanks for another $10, brother. I appreciate that. What if Brock is at Stomping Grounds, fakes a cash in on both Seth and Kofi, causing them to both lose their titles to Shane and Corbin? Then you have Brock versus Seth versus Kofi for the case at SummerSlam. That's interesting, Spaz. I can't see them doing a match for the briefcase at SummerSlam. That would be weird. Seth versus Kofi versus Brock for the case. One thing I have said about the Money in the Bank briefcase, and also holds true for the Royal Rumble winners, is I never like when they put the title shots on the line. I think if you win the Royal Rumble, you are going to WrestleMania no matter what. You shouldn't have to defend it in February or anything like that. Same goes for the briefcase, and we've seen this happen a couple of times. A lot of Royal Rumble winners, lots of them, have had to defend their spot at the pay-per-view. And we've had a couple of briefcases on the line too. Edge took away Kennedy's, and somebody else lost a briefcase, didn't they? So I don't want to, and I've said this before, I've said this in commentaries throughout the years, that I don't want the briefcase to be a championship. And I don't want it to be defended unless it's a very special circumstance. I don't want it to be defended. But I don't see any of that coming true, Spaz, to be honest with you. But it would be crazy. I mean, you'd be causing all sorts of problems. Can you imagine that? Not only you have Seth and Kofi losing their belts to Shane and Corbin, but you have Brock as being the reason for them losing? Oh my God. You are asking for trouble, man. Asking for trouble, Spaz. You crazy Canadians. Well, some people want to hire you, Spaz. All right, pretty solid audience in here. Still about 200 folks. Y'all do me a favor, smash that thumbs up for me. Try to get me up to like 100 likes in the next few minutes. That would be sweet. And we've been streaming for about an hour now. Really? An hour? I've been talking that much? Slow things down a bit. Oh, see, Spaz, some people want to fire you, some people want to hire you. Hey, I like your idea. I like my idea too. You know, I pitched that yesterday on Twitter about giving Corbin the belt for one day. Just making an Austin Kane King of the Ring 98 type of scenario. Have Corbin cheat, win the belt all fucked up, piss off the fans. They're ranting and raving, freaking out, flipping out for 24 hours. You get to Raw, you set up the rematch in the main event, and instead of doing a stupid finish, or with the show going off the air with a bunch of dumb shit, you actually have Seth win it back in the main event. Show goes off the air as Seth is swinging that belt over his head on the top of the ramp as Raw goes off the air. Like, wouldn't you think that would be, like, fun? It would give us some ups and downs and stimulate our brains creatively and all that stuff. I don't really have a problem with that scenario. I don't want to see Corbin win and hold on to the belt for 6 months, but one day, I can live with that. Yeah, David, I gave a quick, and you know what? I don't know, you guys probably can't hear it, but the motherfucker, Tito now, is all the way in the back bathroom. He's fucking with the cabinets in there. So whenever he wants my attention, he opens the cabinets and slams them. So that's what he was doing behind me. So I had to scare him away, and now I can hear him in the bathroom, which is not close to me, all the way in there fucking with the cabinets in the bathroom. Any of y'all want him? I'll just mail them to you. I'll put them in a box. I'll poke some holes in the top so he can breathe, and I'll just ship him priority mail. I'll pay for shipping and everything. All you got to do is feed him. I don't know how it's been an hour. I do not feel like I've been streaming for an hour. But I guess I have. Cool. Time flies when you're having fun. Cool. Those likes are climbing up. I appreciate that. Make sure you subscribe too. We are getting up there. We should be cracking 27,000 like any second. And then the next big milestone after that will be the big 30K. which we should have been to by now. My subs have really dropped in the past couple of months, but they'll pick up. They go high and low. Last year, I went one span of like 3 months where I got, I don't know, like 200 subs a month or something. And then I went another 3 months where I got like 1,200 a month. So it's up and down all the time. Trying to avoid talking about Cardi B, but I'll get there. But the next pay-per-view that we have for All Elite Wrestling, of course, is Fyter Fest. That's coming up on the 29th, which will be Saturday, which will be a Saturday after 2 weeks from today, right? 2 weeks from tonight will be Fyter Fest. Yeah, because today's the 15th. And that's going to be free. So they're going to be airing that free, which I think is a smart move. They're about to air on TNT. You want to get as many fans familiar with your product and your stars as possible because there are still a lot of people in All Elite Wrestling who are under contract there that only real hardcore wrestling fans know. The casual WWE fan is not going to know who Jungle Boy is and shit like that. So I think the more you expose this talent and show them to people, the better you're going to do with your TV show. So you have to, you kind of have to establish these guys as characters. And that's going to fall flat. It's going to work sometimes. It's going to fall flat sometimes. But I think it's probably a good move, at least giving Fyter Fest a free show because Jericho's not even on the show. I think it's being headlined by Moxley and Janela. Who else we got on that show? I think that's the only match I know of right now. But the fact that they're just running that free is probably smart. They're going to have plenty more paid shows. All Out will do a great gate, have a great buy rate. They kick off on TNT several weeks after that. I think it's a good move. Well, fan of the man, you've just put a completely different twist on what I had in mind. I really hope that what you're proposing there is not even close to happening. We've talked about Shane McMahon winning the WWE title. It feels like, based on what WWE is doing on TV right now, currently, on SmackDown and Raw, with Shane winning all these matches, even holding a victory over Roman Reigns, feels like the writing is on the wall. They're going to put the belt on this asshole. It really feels like they are. Now, your scenario scares me shitless. I'm scared enough of Shane being the WWE champion. You unify the belts, and you have this guy be the one to unify them. I don't know if you can really have a bigger slap in the face to your talent than having somebody like Shane. And like I said earlier, I'm not necessarily against Shane having a cup of coffee with the belt. Not necessarily against that at all. But it better not be for a long time. And then you have them unify the belts. Huh? I just would be adamantly against that. I don't like your idea. Fan of the man. Please, God, no. Chat site needs a smoke and switching to my phone now. Chat site, you are the champion of tags on Twitter. I swear, you tag me, the Wrestling Soup guys, Tony and Castle and Cronin and JD, and I don't know how many other. You got to help me. Who else do you tag? Like everything you post on Twitter has always got me in there with all those guys. And sometimes the news is pretty good. So I appreciate your Twitterness there, chat site. Devlin husband, thanks for the $2, brother. He thinks that Brock is going to get both belts. So I don't know. We might have gone from bad to worse there. At least Brock is legit incredible. But I would really be bummed if Brock or Shane was the one to unify these belts. And I don't think we're going to see a unification right now. It feels like we should, considering that there's a wild card rule. And the brand split and the brand extension seems to be pretty much a thing of the past. But it was a thing of the past before, and we still had 2 world champions. Plus, you can't just unify the men's without unifying the women's. So if you're going to do that, you're going to have to do it with both of them. And then what are we talking? Charlotte? Shane McMahon's going to unify the WWE titles, and Charlotte's going to unify the women's? Oh, joy. That'll make the fans happy, right? Actually, Teddy Long, I apologize. You are the champion of tags. Aaron, No DQ, Luge, Salamonster, yeah, all of us. All right, chat, I'll add you to my list. I am curious about the Twitter glitch. I don't really eyeball my numbers. I don't really know how many people I'm following or followers I have, but I know my numbers are off right now. I feel like I'm following like 20 less people than I was a couple days ago. And then I was looking on Twitter today, and I saw some people talking about a glitch. Oh, WWE is in Anaheim right now. Shit, that's right up the road for me. I even said I need to go to a show next time they're there, but that's a live event. Next time Raw or SmackDown is in Anaheim, I'm on to go. Looks like a dead audience in there, too. Jesus. Oh, no, never mind. Holy shit. All right, so the Anaheim crowd tonight, the house show, the top level is completely tarped off, but the bottom 2 levels are full. That looks like more people at a Raw. Or that looks more people. That looks like more people that are at a Raw. Raw and SmackDowns these days looks like a lot less people than this. Good house tonight in Anaheim. I should have made the trip. Site of WrestleMania 12. I don't know if you guys can see it on camera. Maybe you can. Right below my microphone, right here, right in the corner. That's the Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 12 plaque from when he beat Bret Hart. A little fun fact about my house. Dr. Furman, good to see you in here, man. How's the wrestling coming along? You met Scott Steiner today. Good old Scotty Steiner at an indie show. Where are you from again? Oh, why can't I remember this? Are you from Georgia? I think that's where Scott lives. I forgot. Thank you. I forgot a super chat. Who did I miss? Super chats. Oh, from Mike. Of course from Mike, because who else would it be from? Mr. Super Chat Mania, Mike Witt, who always hooks me up. Hope Baszler gets called up soon. Her versus Becky. Yeah? Shayna and Becky? Shayna, I don't know when she's going to drop that belt, man. I'm starting to think it's got to be the Toronto takeover, right? Over SummerSlam. I felt like last year I wanted her to retain. I've predicted her to retain in every single takeover she's had since she's been champ. So I've gotten them all right. But I remember in the beginning of the year, I finally told myself, I'm like, okay, I think WrestleMania, we can start talking about her dropping the belt. But then she retained at that takeover. She retained at takeover 25. Now we're moving into SummerSlam weekend, and you got to think this is going to be it for her. Unless it's a multi-person match. At this point, with the run that Baszler has had and how long she's held the belt, and it's just a personal preference. I'm not saying this is right or wrong. When you have a champion that's had a run like this, I personally prefer them to drop the belts in one-on-one situations. I feel like if you have a run like that, it benefits another talent to put them over. Now, if you have a 4-way or something, that 4-ways are designed to like keep people strong and shit like that. Have them lose the belt without losing it, shit like that. But if you're going to have Baszler go on this run, somebody needs to beat her and carry on the torch in NXT, because I think one of the big mistakes that they made, as much as I love Asuka, I think one mistake they made was not having her drop the belt, make somebody else. And the women's division survived just fine. They get some great girls down there, but I think it would have been very helpful to a piece of their talent had they been able to beat Asuka before she left. So I hope that somebody gets a chance to do that with Baszler. And then once she gets to the main roster, anything can happen. You can put her together with the 4 horsewomen to go up against Becky and Charlotte and Bayley. And if she wants to come back, Sasha Banks, don't know what the hell is going on with her. She's been liking a lot of All Elite Wrestling shit on Twitter, which is pretty funny. She clearly wants out, which I don't blame her, but she also has to be realistic and realize that they're not just going to let her go. So whatever she has left on her contract, if she doesn't want to come back to WWE, she's going to have to sit that out. I really don't see any other way. Yeah, you hope Mia Yim wins it. And I like what they were doing with Candice LeRae and everything. I feel like she might be the one to beat Shayna Baszler. Especially after, I think that, Io Shirai is going to wind up turning heel or some shit like that. And it'll be Candice that winds up taking the belt off of Baszler, if I had to guess. But that's just my casual NXT viewing mind thinking out loud there. But if I had to guess, that's what I think they would do. Oh, that's right. Or Spaz, you're up in that area, aren't you? So you are going to take over SummerSlam, Raw, SmackDown, and a Destiny show. SummerSlam weekend. You will be busy. And you want Baszler versus Yim? Hey, I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that. Yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend up there for the folks in Toronto. I don't even know if you're a basketball fan or not, Spaz, but congrats to the Raptors who won the title last night, which was awesome. EO already turned heel? Well, I must have missed that. That's another thing. Since we're on the topic of NXT, I have not seen it in a couple of weeks, so if she already did the heel turn, then I missed it. But I did read some of the taping spoilers, and there are a bunch of talent heading back there. We already had Tyler Breeze turn back up in NXT. He had the match with Velveteen Dream at TakeOver. Apparently, he was getting his ass kicked by the Forgotten Sons at the TV taping, and Fandango came out to help him. So Fandango is back in NXT, and you would think it's not really looking like they're going to do the Fashion Police reunion. I think they might actually be a serious team. I don't know. Maybe they'll wind up feuding. Who knows? But Fandango is now back in NXT. We also had Killian Dane turn back up in NXT, and Apollo Crews worked a match. Now, Apollo feels more like a one-shot deal, but maybe he's back there too. And I'd be fine with that because Apollo is hugely underrated. He's a beautiful piece of talent. And he was a guy that I thought was brought up way too quick as it was. And he was not that he wasn't ready to be brought up. He was brought up too quick in the terms of WWE not having anything for him creatively. You know, and I've said that right from the beginning is the biggest issue I have with WWE is them bringing up stars from NXT without having anything planned for them. And that's a big concern I have for talents like Velveteen Dream. Whenever they make it to the main roster, they're legends. They are icons where they are right now in NXT. You put them on Raw or SmackDown and they will be anything but. And we've seen that with EC3 and so many other guys. So I worry, anytime somebody's been rumored to come up. And I wish the best for everybody, but it's usually pretty ugly. So the fact that you're finally, because we hadn't had this before, it hasn't been, aside from people like Natalya, Cesaro, a couple of other guys going back down to NXT to work one match, we haven't had anybody be sent there. Now we're starting to see that with Tyler Breeze, Fandango, Killian Dane, possibly Apollo Crews, and hopefully more to come. You're going to have talent starting to approach WWE. Hey, can I go back and just work with Triple H instead of these crazy bastards on Raw and SmackDown? If I was a piece of talent, that's exactly where I would want to be. Right there in NXT, where the fans appreciate the product and they don't question every goddamn thing you do. And they are excited for what they see, and they love the matches and the shows and the storylines and the angles and the characters. You get that in NXT. You don't get that anywhere else. Let me catch up some super chats. Who'd I miss? Somebody. Oh, how easy. I need to get more GoodMicWork tees so you can represent me. Yeah, I know. You run out of tees to buy, haven't you? I got to get some new designs. I got to actually contact them. My All Elite Wrestling font is still not on my store. I submitted the design. I have not heard back. Let me peek at it right now. Loading. Yeah, see, it's not up there yet. So I have submitted the new, the All Elite Wrestling font t-shirt, but I have not seen it for sale on my store yet. But it's coming. How wheezy. I'll find some for you sooner or later. Oh, Alex Bryant with a super chat. Let's read this. Recently scored tickets to an NXT live event in Concord. Wow, Concord, huh? I know where that is. I'm from North Carolina. God, I'm going to cream my corn when I see Adam Cole, baby. Don't cream your corn, dude. Sounds messy. I'm a big Adam Cole fan. One thing I heard about him recently is what a really cool dude he is. Some fan was talking about meeting him or something like that, and just a genuine guy, super likable, super approachable, very engaging, talked to everybody, took pictures, smiled, super polite, and I enjoyed hearing that. Like, he sounds like a cool dude. The guy's over. Great wrestler, and he's another one that somebody said it earlier on in the chat that, they're happy that he's champion because they don't want to see him get called up to the main roster. And Adam Cole is the exact type of guy that I expect to do nothing on Raw or SmackDown. Too small or something. Something's just not going to work out for him on Raw or SmackDown. It's not going to translate. And it's a shame because whenever somebody is over like that, WWE always fucks it up. So it's probably best for him to stick around in NXT for right now. And I'm glad he's the champion too. What else is on my list? I'll talk for a little bit while longer here before I get out of here. Let me see. This is another reason why I came up so late in the week on Saturday like this, because I was writing notes or making little notes on my phone throughout the duration of the week of things to talk about whenever I came up here and do a video this week. I thought it might be last night. I thought it might be the night before. Finally, I decided on tonight, but I was really struggling with things to talk about. My notes were light. It was a slow news week. There was really nothing to really discuss aside from Stomping Grounds and a few other news tidbits. So my notes are pretty light here. But one thing I did want to mention as well is Bray Wyatt. There are some rumors, just rumors, that WWE is going to have him at Raw this week. Now, this is a go-home show. Stomping Grounds, a card that Bray Wyatt is not even booked on, is this Sunday, or a week from tomorrow. I would rather WWE concentrate on that. I would rather them spend Monday night building to those matches, trying to create whatever interest they can for this pay-per-view that's coming up in a week, and then debut Bray Wyatt the next week or the week after. It just seems like horrible timing, which seems to be the norm with this fucking company these days, is that they do things at the exact opposite time that I would expect them to do them. So if they brought Bray Wyatt on Raw this week, I think it's too early. I think you have a little bit more fun with the Firefly Funhouse. You let us continue to speculate what we are going to see, because as of right now, we are as confused as hell as to what we are visibly going to see when Bray Wyatt steps in the ring and wrestles a match. How's he going to look? What's he going to wear? What is his wrestling style going to change at all? What is his character going to be like? There are so many unanswered questions and so much speculation going on that it's fun. And I'm not in any rush to have those questions answered. I want WWE to do it right. Take their time. Plan this out strategically. Bring him back at the right moment. Don't rush him back because your ratings are shit or you need a boost of some kind. You guys did this to yourself. The WWE created all of these problems. And that's why you see these stupid decisions being made, like the wild card rule. Oh, Raw's ratings are in the shitter. Let's make up some bullshit rule to get Roman Reigns back on the show. They wouldn't need to make up this bullshit rule if they just used their damn heads creatively and try to write compelling TV and you push and utilize guys in a meaningful way instead of just like ass. So the one thing that concerns me about these Bray Wyatt rumors is that I worry that WWE is doing it because of how bad things are. Well, let's bring Bray Wyatt back. The fans will be happy to see that. They'll tune in to see that. That's just such a bad idea. To do it for ratings. Do it when you're ready. Do it when the storyline calls for it. When is the right time? When you can launch him into a new program. If they hotshot it, it's going to fail. Because you don't have your shit together. And you don't have a long-term plan in place. And it's the same fucking thing with this company. All the time. His shit is constantly rushed and hotshotted to the point where they don't have any plans written out and they make shit up on a week-to-week basis, and that's when the talent and the characters and all the time, money, and investment that they put into these characters, that's when it fails and becomes a complete waste of time, is when they spend all that time building these characters only to ruin them on TV. So I do not want to see Bray Wyatt on Raw this Monday. I hope they hold off, because if they do bring him in, why? What's he going to do? What's the point? You got Stomping Grounds on Sunday. It's a shitty pay-per-view with a stupid name that's pretty much a throwaway pay-per-view full of rematches. WrestleMania and Super Showdown rematches is pretty much all this pay-per-view is. That's it. So Bray Wyatt doesn't need to be involved. Have him debut at SummerSlam or something. Speaking of SummerSlam, we talked about Cardi B. Don't know anything about her. I think I've seen her face. I know she's a rapper or something. I'm sure I've heard her songs, but I wouldn't know it was her singing it. I probably heard it on the radio or something. I literally know nothing about her and don't really want her to be a part of SummerSlam, but I wouldn't be surprised if she is, much like Snooki and other worthless celebrities. She'll be involved. What about... I have this written down only because it's funny. So you guys saw on Twitter this past week, Becky Lynch and Edge and Beth Phoenix were kind of getting into it a little bit on Twitter. Now, you could tell that it was a work right from the start. I had told Becky Lynch and Edge, both of them who were beefing with each other, I wrote on Twitter, I'm like, y'all, this is like breaking my heart. You are two beloved babyfaces. I don't understand why a beloved babyface champion, Becky Lynch, is attacking a retired beloved babyface. It makes no sense. You know, why are babyfaces doing this to each other? And obviously it's a work because Beth Phoenix can still get back in the ring from time to time. She's doing commentary on NXT shows and other things in WWE. She's still affiliated with them. Wouldn't be surprised at all. She had a match at WrestleMania, right? Wouldn't be surprised at all if they brought her in for a match. So I thought everything that was going on Twitter was done to set up a match, a future match between Becky and Beth. Apparently Ric Flair did an interview and he fell for the work. Completely fell for it to the point where he called Edge on the phone to tell him that Becky Lynch is talking some mad shit. And Edge had to be like, Rick, it's a work, dude. So poor Ric Flair, he's getting old. Clearly it's a work. It makes no sense for these people to have a beef with each other at all. And there's just no way. So you knew it was a work and it was probably just setting something up for Becky and Beth. But I thought it was really funny that Ric Flair fell for it. Now, I am not going to speculate on Edge's physical condition. I'm of the understanding he can never wrestle again. I'm of the understanding that he cannot do anything in the ring because he could risk paralysis or permanent neck damage or injury or something like that. But if he was able to be cleared for a protected match, could you do a mixed tag? Could you do Becky, Seth, Beth, and Edge? Maybe. Just a thought. Thank you for the $2 super chat. I did not forget. Sometimes I just don't read them all. Doesn't mean I forgot. But thank you for the $2. You forgot a super chat asking about AD to the Lakers. Yeah, I saw it. I just got to get to it, dude. I didn't forget. Sometimes I forget, but I didn't forget that one. Oh, that was you that said that too, right? But that news just came through a little while ago. So Anthony Davis has been traded to the Lakers for a whole bunch of picks. And I forgot who got traded over there. That is probably a good move because I think the Lakers, they gave up like 3 draft picks. Oh, it was Lonzo. That's right. Lonzo Ball. Thank God. Fuck him. Nothing against him. His dad is a goddamn moron and I hate his guts. So put Lonzo in New Orleans and get the fuck out of our lives here in Southern California. Good riddance. But the picks, like 3 number 1 picks or something like that, they're clearly trying to win now because that's really going to hurt them in the future. But having that Anthony Davis here now with that LeBron and Davis package could entice a lot of other free agents, which there are a plethora of. Unfortunately, though, Durant and Klay Thompson are up shit's creek. You know, Durant ain't going to be ready to rock and roll by October. He's got a torn Achilles. Klay Thompson, ACL, destroyed. He's out a year. So that kind of sucks. I was really hoping the Lakers could get one of those pieces. Imagine if you had Durant, LeBron, or healthy Durant, LeBron, and Anthony Davis. Fuck it. Just start them 3. You don't need anybody else. But it's going to make the offseason interesting for everybody involved. And I think the Lakers are so kind of poorly managed right now. A lot of people are frustrated, including LeBron himself. This helps them, and if they can pull in another big star and get a decent bench, a coach that LeBron wants, maybe. I don't know. The NBA season just ended. I'll start thinking more about that around September time. What did I miss here? Nothing else. LeBron and LeBrow. That's funny, Midwest goon. I like it. LeBron and LeBrow. Yeah. I don't know. Anthony Davis, he's aware that there's supposed to be 2 eyebrows, right? No, did anybody inform him of that? Hell, Kyrie. Exactly. I would love to see Kyrie and LeBron reunite. I don't know why Kyrie was itching to get out of there so much. I thought he did. I mean, I thought he was awesome. I love Kyrie Irving. Shut up. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Kyrie Irving. Kawhi, exactly. Chat site, exactly. Kawhi Leonard, who's a little hometown boy here, went to SDSU, and coming back to Southern California might be awesome for Kawhi. He's got a ring now. He gave Toronto a ring. Although, you know, if I'm Kawhi, I could definitely see the attraction to coming here and playing with LeBron and Anthony Davis. Holy shit. Give him the title right now kind of thing. But at the same time, if you want to be realistic, like, what do you care about? Do you care about where you live, how much money you make, or championships? Where Kawhi is currently right now in Toronto, wouldn't you think they would be the odds-on favorite to go back to the finals next year? Right? Who else is in the East? Milwaukee? Boston? You know, they bring that team back, they're probably right back there next year. He almost guarantees himself a spot back in the finals if he sticks around in Toronto. Where if he comes here to LA or goes somewhere else in the West, he ain't guaranteed shit. The West is tough, especially with them pesky Warriors floating around. And hell, even with the Warriors' depleted injury, I ain't counting them out next year either. You know, I thought they were a championship team without Durant. So if they can stay in the hunt, I could easily see them right back in the finals again next year. Yeah, but them Warriors, I mean, they had a hell of a run, man. I mean, what they were like, what were they? How many titles were they 3-2 in the finals? They won 3 titles, lost 2, something like that. They were there 5 or 6 years in a row, whatever the fuck it was. So they were quite the dynasty there. I really think wrestling news-wise, I might be done. Let me look at my notes here. Here's what's on my notes, y'all. You want me to read them to you? All Out sells out. Talked about Fyter Fest. I talked about Stomping Grounds. Oh, no, I haven't talked about the Stomping Grounds card. We still need to do that. Possibility of Shane and Corbin winning the titles. Bray on Raw. Cardi B at SummerSlam. Becky and Edge Twitter feud. Killian Dane. Fandango. Apollo. And who else? Somebody else all returning to NXT. Let me pull up the... Where are we at? Let me pull up the Stomping Grounds card because I had it pulled up here in a minute. Let's look at the matches we have right now for Stomping Grounds, which I believe is about 8. 5. Is it Stomping Ground or Stomping Grounds? Stomping Grounds, okay, with Roman on the cover. All right, here are the matches. As of right now, we have got, start at the bottom. So what's not a championship match? So we only have championship matches announced so far, 2 men's, 2 women's, and we got Roman and Drew. So we got Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. We've got Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin, which we know. We've got Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler inside of a steel cage. We've got Becky Lynch taking on Lacey Evans for the Raw Women's title, and we have Bayley against Alexa Bliss for the SmackDown Women's title. Now, Alexa Bliss won some sort of a match on SmackDown a couple weeks ago to earn that shot, but she's a Raw girl, so this wild card shit is getting ridiculous right off the bat here. As of right now, the funny thing is for those of you who saw my Twitter post yesterday about my idea for Baron Corbin winning the title for one day, the only reason, or one of the main reasons why I came up with that idea is because when I was looking at this card, I don't see anybody dropping their belts. The only possibility I see is Alexa Bliss, maybe beating Bayley. Other than that, I don't see anybody dropping the belts. That's why I thought if you did a one-night change with Corbin, have him win the belt at Stomping Grounds and then drop it the next night, that would at least make the pay-per-view significant and not just give us a card full of matches with everybody retaining their titles, and it's essentially a house show with a little bit better in-ring work, you know what I mean? So I felt like maybe they could do that with Baron Corbin, but if you're going to have any of those champions drop their belts, I wouldn't take it off Becky right now, not to Lacey Evans. I think Lacey Evans is great. I think she's got potential and everything in the future. She'll be a future world champion. She's got a great look. She's decent and comfortable on the mic, and she'll get better and better as she goes in the ring. However, I think an extra year in NXT would have benefited her. I think she was another one that came up way too early. They could have polished her a little bit longer in NXT, given her a run with the belt. But, you know, she's a heel. They already have a monster heel champion in NXT right now. And if they have no plans on taking the belt off of Baszler in the near future, then maybe they felt like the only place for Lacey to go was the main roster. Well, We don't really have plans for her for the title right now, so why keep her around if we're not going to make her the champ? Let's move her to the top. Main roster. That might have been the thinking there. I don't know. But I still don't think she's ready. And I predicted her to lose at Money in the Bank, and I'm going to predict her to lose here. Bayley, however, dropping the belt to Alexa Bliss is possible. I don't want to see it because Bayley won the Money in the Bank and cashed in the same night. And you really want to end all of that at the very, very, very next pay-per-view? Can you fuck Bayley over anymore? First, she wins the tag titles with Sasha and drops them at the next pay-per-view. Now she's going to win the Money in the Bank, then win the title, and then you're going to have her drop that the next night too, or the next month too? Come on. So I know Bayley's not everybody's favorite, but at least for right now, I would keep the belt on her. I don't know what the rush is with anything here. And Alexa Bliss is kind of a weird choice to face her. Like, why bring a Raw girl over and have her win the fucking... It's such a mess. It's so annoying. So right now, this pay-per-view is not looking like much. And I certainly don't see... I'm really overlooking Ziggler and Kofi, and I don't want to sleep on that match. But again, is Kofi going to drop the belt to a random opponent in a random match? Ziggler appeared out of nowhere to work Saudi Arabia. Now he's back for a rematch. I don't see it. I think Kofi retains. And I'm going to go one better here, and I'm going to say that Brock stays completely away from this pay-per-view. I don't think he even shows up. I think we get out of this show. Maybe Heyman shows up. Maybe you hear Brock's music, but Brock himself showing up, I'd be surprised. I'd be really surprised. Although when Brock does eventually cash in that briefcase, I would like it to be a surprise. I would like it to happen at a time when nobody is expecting it to happen. You know, not and don't telegraph it. Like don't put your champion in a situation where Kofi or Seth get annihilated by somebody and they're laying there in a bloody heap, crash through an announce table on the outside of the ring, and then have Brock come out, because you can kind of feel that. Have Brock come out at the most random, unexpected time ever, to where it really takes the fans off guard. He wins the belt in a big, shocking way, and it's still going to piss off plenty of fans. I just want it to be a surprise, to be added to the pissed offness of the fans, because they're going to be pissed when he does that. But for me, I think it would be more fun as a fan for him to show up randomly, is what I'd like to see. DJ Glenn, thank you for the $2, brother. Boogeyman appeared in ICP satellite music video. Really? The Boogeyman. ICP, I'm assuming, is Insane Clown Posse, right? They're still alive? And they do videos? Good for the Boogeyman. Vince Jr. is older than his father? I don't think that's possible. Thanks, Kenneth. Nice shirt. It's just a t-shirt. I'm glad you like it. Corbin should have it for a year, huh? I don't know. You can definitely tell by the way Corbin is used on TV that Vince likes him. Absolutely. And I think he will win the title, and I think he'd be a good, I think he'd be a heel champion that everybody would boo the shit out of, and a guy like that, you just got to keep the belt on him for a short amount of time. You know, he's going to be very much like Jinder, and I actually want to see... Let me rephrase that. I don't want to see Corbin win the belt, but if he did, I'd be very interested to put up a Twitter poll, and you guys can tell me here. Just tell me here. Assuming Corbin wins the belt, let's say Baron Corbin becomes Universal Champion one day. Who's a better world champion, Jinder or Corbin? Who would, maybe not a better champion, who would you prefer to be champion? If you had to have one of them, Jinder or Corbin, who would you prefer? I want to hear that. Just answer Corbin or Jinder. Take a little sample size here of a few of you and see what y'all think. How have I been talking for an hour and 40 minutes? I really feel like I've been here like 30 minutes. I think it's because I was in such a hurry to get here and I was running late and all that shit, but I've been talking for a while. Oh, I gotcha. Oh, yeah. Oh, you mean like the age he is now. Oh, yeah. Vince Sr., Vince Sr. died. I don't know how old he was. Maybe 70. You sure he outlived him? Wow, a lot of Corbin votes here. Good. Yeah, Vince Sr. died in 83 or 84. I was watching wrestling when Vince Sr. was still in charge. That's how old I am. I want to say he died in 83 or 84. Yeah, looks like Corbin's dominating the votes so far. That'll be a fun Twitter poll. He's got to win it first. But once that happens, I'll put up a Twitter poll. And I know we all like to make fun of Corbin, but I think we're all pretty much in agreement that, yeah, we don't want to see him, and everything, but he holds his own. He does all right. Check over here on Twitter, see if anybody is tweeting me shit. A lot of people are like, God, that thing's got like 350 likes on it or something. This picture I tweeted last night of Jinder Mahal handing the WWE title to Shane McMahon. And I captioned it with I'm tired of being known as the worst WWE champion in history. Here, why don't you try it? A lot of people got a kick out of that. But the funny thing, the only reason I came across that picture is because I was making my thumbnail last night. And I was searching for pictures of Shane with the title. And that one came up. And I was like, oh, that would make a funny tweet. Yeah, Vince Sr. was young. Well, I will agree with Jinder on this. He's got a better look because I absolutely hate Baron Corbin's ring attire. Jinder is in amazing shape. Yeah, looks like Corbin's winning the votes here, though. Wow, he died May 24th, huh? Didn't even know the date on that. It's the day after Owen Hart died. He died the 23rd. Different year. How old is Undertaker? I think this year, Undertaker turns 173. 173 years old. Perfect age to die, though. 69. Yeah, 69. Oh, my God. Vince probably wrote it that way. Well, I'm pretty much out of wrestling shit to talk about here, so I'll chat for a little bit here in the chat. I'm going to be up here in 2 days, reacting to Raw on Monday, so I will be back. And I just wanted to come up here tonight and just shoot the shit with you guys about stuff, because I have not been up here this week. I didn't have any other videos planned. There's not even a mic drop to do. There was no interesting news to even come up here and do a short video on. I didn't have any This Day in Histories planned. The next This Day in History I have planned for the channel isn't even for another week. It's on the 27th. Another week and a half, 2 weeks almost. And that's going to be on King of the Ring 1999. I was there on the floor with floor seats, and the chair normally sits right behind me here, but I forgot to put it out. My King of the Ring chair. So I'm going to do a This Day in History on June 27th, talking about that show and maybe one other one. But aside from that, I'm still working behind the scenes. It's so great. It's starting to get exciting now. I'm starting to do more shit. Finally got this mic figured out. I got the desk coming and change up some stuff. New monitor, new camera, all sorts of shit. We're going to get this channel polished up. And by the time we get into the fall season, All Elite Wrestling, SmackDown on Fox, it's going to be looking good over here on a GMW show. Oh, you know what else you guys can do for me? I need some help. Here's one thing I'm going to leave you with before I sign off, and then I'm going to get out of here. One of the changes that I have decided to make here on the channel is that I'm going to retire the episode numbers. As you can see here on the screen, you have episode 536 written right up there. And the episode numbers that I've been counting have been really weird over the years. To give you the origin of them, when I first started doing YouTube, and this goes way back. This goes back to when YouTube, new YouTubers back in 2010, you couldn't upload videos longer than 15 minutes. You were all restricted. As the police rolls by. Let that siren go by so I can finish talking. But way back in the day, when you're a new YouTuber with no subscribers, you've got all these limitations on you. And I used to do 4-part commentaries, 5-part commentaries, 6-part commentaries. And I did that for like the first couple of years. But I never kept track of them, never numbered the episodes. I deleted some episodes because of some copyright shit and really never kept track of it at all. And around 2012, I thought to myself, I'm like, you know what? I've probably done about 100 videos now. So I'm going to start counting my videos. And I'm just going to estimate that I've done 100, and I'm going to start counting at 100. And I've been counting from 100 ever since then. So the first 100 are shady, but then I started picking up the episode count with 100, but then I was really inconsistent with that. I would put episode numbers with pay-per-view reviews or DVD reviews and shit like that. And then years later, I would get away from doing that, and I would keep my podcast episodes numbered, and I would have my pay-per-view and DVD reviews separate. So basically, the numbered episodes are not accurate. I've definitely done over 500 videos, but it kind of varies as to what the actual number is. So what I think I want to do is I want to abandon the episode count, and I want to give a name. I want to give a name to my podcasts. I need to come up with like a cool name for the show. Greg's List or something like that. That actually might be a good name for a countdown show. If I ever do like a top 5 or top 10 video, we'll call that Greg's List. That might be fun. But if you have any like catchy, fun names, shoot them to me in an email at goodmicwork@gmail.com. Tweet them to me at goodmicwork on Twitter. Shoot them to me in the chat, in YouTube comments, on Facebook, anywhere you want. Just come up with a catchy name for a weekly podcast, something that I can call it. And I need to start brainstorming some ideas and stop trying to number my episodes because that's dumb. I think that's kind of ran its course, and I want to try to come up with a new idea. So what can we call the show? What can we call this version of the show? I've got the mic drops. I've got the This Day in Histories. I've got donation videos. I got pay-per-view reviews. I need a name for the podcast when I talk about current event shit, when I run through pay-per-view cards or talk about Raw or talk about SmackDown or talk about any sort of current event stuff in wrestling. I need a name for this show. So that's what I'm looking for. And I've got all summer to come up with it. So I'll continue to number these episodes, but eventually I'm going to retire that concept, and that's going to be done. No more 35 episodes or nothing like that. We're just going to name it something. And it's going to be all part of this kind of relaunch and rebranding. So if you have any catchy names, fun ideas, shoot them to me. I will take every single name into consideration. Greg Talks, stuff like that. Yeah, just like little things like that. I don't know what you can come up with. Between all of us, between a few hundred of us, we can come up for a cool name for my podcast. And like I said, it's just for the podcast version. And a lot of my podcasts going forward, like I've mentioned, I'm going to try my best to do on-screen episodes, more live episodes, more one-take episodes. Sometimes I might tape them and publish them, but what I want to try to work on is not just recording a bunch of audio and then taking 3 hours to edit said audio and then put it into a video and all that. That is way too time-consuming for current event stuff, especially when shit moves so fast and shit is so bad right now. Pay-per-view reviews, DVD reviews, retro reviews, watch-alongs, This Day in Histories. I still want to continue doing that way. But the current event stuff, I want to do more in like a live type of environment. So that's one of the things on my mind, and that's one of the things that I want to try to figure out how to do here on the channel, come up with a name for it. So I'm going to brainstorm. You guys brainstorm. Between all of us, I know we can come up with something. And we have some time. It's not urgent. No, I'm not stealing anybody else's shit, so no Greg sounds off. I don't want to get sued by Salamonster. Greg Talk Wrestling. I'm sure somebody has a Talk Wrestling show. I don't want to get sued by them either. So I'm not looking to steal anybody's ideas. I'm looking to come up with my own. I think we can do it. Good talk work. Hey, like Talk is Jericho, like shit like that. I need to come up with... oh yeah, my friend Jeff Meacham does that. I hung out with Jeff a little bit in LA this past year for a Survivor Series. Him and Aaron Rift. Very good dudes. Good MicWorks Weekly Wrestling. I like it, Zombie Fighter, but it needs to be more catchy than that or something. Like, it needs to be, I don't know. I'll come up with something. We'll continue to talk. But I really like it. I thought about the Greg's List idea for a long time. Like, if I ever start doing, like, top fives and shit, it should be called Greg's List, right? Like Craigslist. See what I did there? course you do. Yeah, but I like that. But I need to come up with a name for these podcasts, and I want to eliminate doing the episode numbers. So that's on my agenda for right now. Let me peek at the time here. All right, we've been going just about 2 hours. It feels like 1 hour. Did the stream cut off? I hope not. Greg's view, Greg, mic work talk, all sorts of shit. Thoughts from Bald Noggin. I like that. Somebody called me dickhead once, and I said, that's Richard Noggin to you. Get it right. Kenneth Taylor, peace out, brother. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks to everybody for hanging out tonight. We didn't have a huge audience. We still have over 100 people right now. If any of you are watching me right now and have not taken your cute little index finger and smash that like button, do it for me. I would very much appreciate it. Okay, Cody, good. It's your Wi-Fi, not me. I've been doing live streams now for about 1.5 years, and I think we've had a grand total of about 3, maybe 4 technical difficulties. One time my cat shut down everything, just shut off my power strip and shut power down to everything right in the middle of a stream. A couple of weeks ago, my webcam went out and went down. I had to get that up and running. And I've had a couple of other hiccups too. But for the most part, over the course of the last 1.5 years, we've had very, very good, smooth sailing live streams here on the channel. And that's only going to get better. I have got a massive new machine coming in. Awesome computer that's going to support a lot of high-tech shit. So the quality is only going to improve. Greg's Funhouse. I like that. Happy Father's Day. Thanks. I got 2 asshole boys, Tito and Bub. Hey, guys. You know, they're all wishing me Happy Father's Day. Because of you two. They don't care. Mike, nope. I am not going to get sued by my boy, Brian Zane. We are homies, and I'm not going to steal his name either. Wrestling with Greg. I'd have to ask him if it's okay if I use that. Southern McIntyre, the wrestling community. See, you guys are more creative than me. What I need to do is just, like, think in the shower or something. I'll come up with something, but I think I want to come up with, like, a name for the podcast version of my show. This that I'm doing right now. And I wanted to have like a wrestling tie-in. I don't know. We got some shit to think about. Morgan's Minute. I don't know. I don't know what we can come up with. We'll figure it out. We have plenty of weeks. I'll be up here this Monday. We can brainstorm some more ideas. I'll be up here a lot. But I want to thank everybody that hung out tonight. I want to thank all of you for donating in the super chats and asking questions, and interacting with me. It's always fun. I'm glad we got a chance to come up here. I really apologize for being late. And I apologize for being a little bit high-strung in the beginning, only because I left my computer on. So when I walked home, I literally walked right over to the computer, pulled it up, started streaming, sat down, and went right into it. So I haven't even had a time to get a change of clothes or chill out or do anything like that. So I am going to do that now. For those of you who have kids, happy Father's Day to you. I hope you have a great day tomorrow. I will be at work all day. And it's going to be fun, but I will be up here this coming Monday to live react to Monday Night Raw like I do every week. So you guys have an awesome rest of your weekend. Have a great Saturday night. It is after midnight on the East Coast, so y'all sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite, is what I'm trying to say. Be good. Talk to you soon. Peace.